A great quote by Paulo Coelho: "There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve, the fear of failure." How many times have you had events and situations where you failed in the last couple of years? Did you fail several times? I sure did. How did you cope with the blows of failure? Did you not fail at all? If not, I'm jealous. Listen up, my friend. You may have been floating in the safe harbors, unwilling to take risks to practice and perform at the edge of your skill levels. Regardless of where you're at, the understanding and management of failure benefits everyone. Failure is a seriously misinterpreted word. Failure scares us. Failure demotivates us and drives us crazy with desperation. Failure can wreak havoc on our peace of mind and make us anxious and stressed out. Failure is generally perceived as a completely undesirable aspect of life that you would rather avoid. Why has failure attained this massive reputation as being completely undesirable that can bring even the most level-headed person to their knees wishing that it never embraced their life? Somewhere along the way in growing up we may have forgotten that we were all right with repeatedly failing and brushing ourselves off and trying again. That is exactly how we learned anything at all. We learned to crawl by repeatedly trying, then failing, and then trying again. We mastered many things by failing and falling countless times. If we were to tell a child to stop trying and stop failing, they would probably look at us like we are crazy, and they will probably be right. Children intuitively know that trying and failing is natural. But somewhere along the way, we picked up fear after failing, anxiety to fail and look bad, guilt and shame for attempting and failing and to try again. The accumulation of beliefs that made it impossible to gracefully fail and look up proudly like a child does. Erroneous expectations surrounding words like dreams and success made failing one of the worst possible things in the universe. A collective judgment and criticism of people who try and fail repeatedly. I think that we need to redefine the negative charge and energy that we have around the thought, feeling, and the act of failure and reframe it in the positive and powerful light that it can really be in our lives. Here are a few ideas on the incredible power of failure. 21. Failure as an event. Events can change. A quote by Zig Ziglar: "Remember that failure is an event, not a person." You get crushed by failure because you attribute the reasons for failing to be you. However, change the way you look at failure by recognizing failure as an occurrence. Do not allow growing pains to define you as a failure. You may fail at times, but you can succeed too, and the negativity and shame wrapped around failure should not be given any permission to define you, your worth, and everything that you truly are. Refuse to think that you are a failure, and instead think that your life is a canvas, a masterpiece. Your life is a painting that you're creating and an adventure that you're actively crafting. 20. The experimenter. A quote by Thomas Edison: "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." The magic of science works wonders when it comes to failure, as Edison has demonstrated. Scientists know that failure is just another experiment that shines much needed light on issues and furthers their understanding of life and science. What a magnificent thought to be able to treat everything that does not work as an experiment towards your solution. You are the scientist in your own life by asking questions and making observations to things that are difficult to understand, and above all, taking action to move forward. A quote by Friedrich Nietzsche: "A thinker sees his own actions as experiments and questions as attempts to find out something." Success and failure are for him answers above all. 19. The secret. A quote by Michael Jordan: "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." Every successful person knows that success is hard-earned. Even more, they understand that success is not a pinnacle to achieve. In order to remain at a level of excellence, they understand that they still need to miss shots. Great success comes with great failure. There are no shortcuts to success. The roads are paved with failure and decorated with many setbacks. 18. The yin and yang of failure and success. A quote by Ellen DeGeneres: "When you take risks you learn that there will be times when you succeed and there will be times when you fail, and both are equally important. The important thing to remember is that success and failure are the two different sides of one coin. Success and failure are just like the sacred Eastern symbol of life, the yin and yang. One cannot exist without the other. Just as day rises and night falls, success and failure are both equally the processes of life. This should give you faith to allow a few risks and accept that both success and failure are mutually exclusive. 17. A quote by Winston Churchill: "Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." Do you lose your enthusiasm after failure? Is it difficult to motivate yourself after failure? The key is to find something that stirs your enthusiasm. It's helpful to clearly understand your why. Look at the reasons behind your goals and actions and remind yourself of them often. Step into your skills and passions that enhance your enthusiasm and build them up and make them so strong that you lessen the risk to run away from failure and embrace it as it comes your way. 16. Failure is essential to become the person you want to become. A quote by Maya Angelou: "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." In fact, it's necessary to encounter defeat so you know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Do you rise after your failures or do you remain stressed or depressed? This is a very important question. Failure helps you realize your truest capacities and how resilient you can be in the face of change and setbacks. Once you understand this, you cannot unlearn it. It's much like trying to forget how to tie your shoes. Going through challenges and coming through on the other end is similar to that. Experience molds you and is intended to help you realize your flexibility and endurance. They're all experiences for your bigger picture. 15. Learning to fail better and learning from the process. Samuel Beckett once said, "All of old. Nothing else ever tried. Ever failed. No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better." What if an essential component was left out of your idea of failure? What if we need to learn how to fail better and learn and fail much better than before? When you try again instead of spinning your wheels, you attempt something new and as a result you allow yourself to fail better. You will move ahead with the realization of where you need to be when you fail better. Finally you will fail so well that you will have embraced the secret you need in knowing how to get to your goals. 14. A quote by Wayne Gretzky: "You'll always miss 100% of the shots you don't take." A question to ask yourself: are you continually taking the shots in your life or are you assuming that you will fail and pass up on them? Are you moving forward or are you allowing the fear of failure to stop you? Does your self-talk say, "Not me, not now, not ever," or are you just going for it and doing? Repeated attempts in what we do creates us. It's about taking as many shots as you can. How many shots are you allowing yourself to grow? 13. Unlocking the lessons in failure. Henry David Thoreau once said, "If we will be quiet and ready enough we shall find compensation in every disappointment." Thoreau's quote is simple and impactful. The idea that we can earn reward from our setbacks and failures may seem strange to you, but if you dig deeper, you will always find some lesson or some new approach from your failures. Failure is a wonderful teacher and often we forget that we need to keep learning and moving towards excellence after we attain a certain success. Clarissa Pinkola Estes once said, "Failure is a greater teacher than success." She advises us in wise and in no uncertain words that failure is a great teacher and can be more effective than success. Why? Failure can spark you into great action. Failure unlocks parts of you that you never knew existed before it happened. Failure reveals loopholes that you may not observe when you gain success. 12. Is failure unique to your life process? J.M. Barrie stated, "We are all failures, at least the best of us are." Every single one of us fails in our life process over and over again. Let that marinate. The idea that many great successes come after many great failures is good news for you. Give yourself permission to try your best, fail and then do it again with that knowledge. This understanding that everyone fails gives you the framework to place failure in a positive light and to not run away from it since it is highly detrimental to the success that you want. 11. Creativity involves radical failure. Ken Robinson quote, "If you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original." We are highly creative beings. If you've been made to believe anything less than that, change your belief. You're more creative than you give yourself credit for. As with everything else in life, creativity is deeply intertwined with the action of attempting things and failing in order to get something original. Stories are everywhere how successful people kept trying until they came up with something original. Charles Schulz, the writer and illustrator of the Peanuts comic strip, wrote almost every day for 50 years and published almost 17,900 strips in total. Not all of his strips were good and not all of them received recognition. Yet, he was great. 10. Transformation through failure. Janet Fitch quote, "The phoenix must burn to emerge." Failure transforms and prepares a person to accomplish their next challenge with greater ease. Ask someone that has been through great challenges and emerged successful and they will tell you about the usefulness of setbacks. You may hear something like, spark to succeed, perseverance, toughness, strength, power, determination. What does failure spark in you? 9. Beyond fear of failure. Beverly Sills quote, "You may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try." Failure is scary, but the final result of not trying or giving up too easily is an idea that we all must be really afraid of. The regret that we had the time to discover opportunity but were too afraid of failure. The regret that we could have made bigger difference but instead chose the road most traveled. The regret of inaction because we were too busy feeling hypothetical emotions in our imagination. There is a big difference between the fear of failure and the act of failure. It's common to be afraid of the idea of failure, but when you actually go ahead and do something and fail, it does not feel as heavy as when carrying the fear and holding onto it. Jack Lemmon quote, "Failure seldom stops you. What stops you is the fear of failure." 8. Living out your true story. A Buddha quote, "The only real failure in life is not to be true to the best one knows." Live out your true story. The best version of yourself. You're not just only here to improve. You're also here to uncover your truest courageousness and fullest confidence. If you take a step into your authentic story, every failure along the way will be more fulfilling than living in inauthenticity. 7. Improvise. Try a new approach. A Roger Von Eck quote, "Remember the two benefits of failure. First, if you do fail, you learn what doesn't work, and second, the failure gives you the opportunity to try a new approach. There are reasons to accept failure and learn to dance with it. It offers the opportunity to do something different, to change a few things, and to transform the status quo to have a far greater impact than you do right now." As innovation expert Roger Von Eck said, "Failure can be highly beneficial and allow you to know what works and what doesn't work in your life while allowing you to improvise." 6. Avoiding failure is avoiding success. Robert T. Kiyosaki once said, "Winners are not afraid of losing. But losers are." Failure is vital in the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. This may be the great truth of success, that avoiding failure and the lessons locked up inside prevent us from seeing the complete picture. Much like the holes in Swiss cheese analogy from Salman Khan of Khan Academy about filling our gaps in understanding. What if failure allows us to fill those holes in the journey to success? What if failure and the subsequent filling of holes of perception from that understanding are vital to the whole story of success? 6. The error in judgment. A quote by F. Scott Fitzgerald, "Never confuse a single defeat with a final defeat." Many assign too much importance to one event, or one failure, or one person who criticizes us. When a single defeat consumes your life, you are inclined to just give up and give in. But is a single defeat the final defeat? 5. Sweet feelings of great action. A quote by Michel de Montaigne, "There are defeats more triumphant than victories." Jim Rohn said that he considered the journey of becoming a millionaire, and the experiences along the way to be the relevant part of making that sum of money and not the sum itself. It's inside the process that's significant. When you make a great attempt at something and learn a great deal, often even if you lose, the defeat is very sweet. Even though it probably hurts, you're still feeling very pleased by the attempts and relentless hard work. When you work toward furthering your process, how can you ever be considered a failure? 4. Johnny Cash quote, "You build on failure. You use it as a stepping stone. Close the door on the past. You don't try to forget the mistakes, but you don't dwell on it. You don't let it have any of your energy, or any of your time, or any of your space." Powerful thoughts. The important question is, where is your focus? Are you focusing on how you failed and how you cannot do anything? Or are you focusing on the answers in your failure and how you can use them to your advantage and do something to make a meaningful impact in the universe? It's all about focus and action. 3. Kick shame too. The Curb Augmendino of the greatest salesman in the world said, "Never feel shame for trying and failing, for he who has never failed is he who has never tried." It's your time. Shame does not serve you. Courage and perseverance is what it's about. 2. Reframe failure as your essential tool. A quote by Ann Baxter: "I wasn't afraid to fail. Something good always comes out of failure." Reframe your mindset. Even if you are just now learning how to cope with uncertain moments, this transformation skill is invaluable. Failure is often a blessing in disguise. Just as a diamond undergoes great pressure to become, failure puts us to trials and imposes demands on us to create our sparkle and share our brilliance with the world. A cubic zirconia never goes through any of that. Now over to you. Let me know in the comments below if you have any superstar strategies to get beyond failure and how you deal with the setbacks in your life. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you found this to be of any value to you. And hit subscribe for future videos.